Hey Tech Heads, Fina here. So, as 'tis the season for wish lists and gift giving, today I want to take a look at the wish list of MG4 owners. All the features and improvements that they're dreaming of having in their MG4s. Now, all of these suggestions come straight from the passionate community of drivers at the mgevs.com discussion forum, which I love to frequent. And they really highlight what's missing and what could make the MG4 an even better EV going forward. So let's check out what MG4 owners have on their wish list and see if MG is paying attention. So one of the top wishes among MG4 owners is definitely better practicality. Just to give an example, the forum member MG4JP from Portugal suggested adding an advanced vehicle to load or V2L discharge mode with the ability to pre-schedule it via the app. Of course, this would allow users to connect to external devices such as electric heaters, water boilers, or other appliances, and to control their power supply remotely. Now, I have to say, I agree this would be pretty cool because say you've maybe decided to go off grid for a bit, you're staying at a remote cabin, or just an old school one that has no electricity. I've definitely been there. So imagine the convenience of something like finishing a long winter hike, you return to your cabin and it is all warm and cozy, thanks to your MG4 being able to power an electric heater through its 2.2 kilowatt V2L capability. So while this feature could also, keep your cabin warm for a few hours, it's really perfect for ensuring that the space is going to be cozy enough to go ahead and start a stove, start a fire in your stove without having to shiver through the whole process. So I can imagine such a functionality would not only appeal to tech enthusiasts, but it also offers practical benefits for efficient energy use in remote settings or when you're on the road. So MG, are you listening? Because this kind of practical upgrade really is what turns a good EV, a good enough EV into a great one. We love those extra features. And I think this is definitely one to add to the list of add-ons for the future because it would be amazing. Other owners like Mark Howard from New Zealand are asking for the ability to set one pedal driving as the default mode because constantly resetting this feature can get tiresome. So he said that though he much prefers the one pedal driving, he never really uses it because of the need to set it up, every single time you get in the car. Now, I have to say personally, I don't think that this would be the best approach as I'm not really a fan of one pedal driving myself. So in my opinion, a much better solution would be for the car to remember the last use setting and then allow each driver to, choose their preferred mode. For example, in my Megane E-Tech, the car retains the last selective regenerative braking level. And I personally find my ideal level to be the level 2. So this would give drivers flexibility to stick with what really works best for them. I think that would be perfect. And integrating this functionality with user profiles would absolutely make it just perfect, I think. So there's always room for improvement. After all, continuous upgrades are what EV enthusiasts really expect these days. You're feeling some Tesla vibes here. So you know what I'm saying. So in my opinion, this would definitely, again, be a great addition. Not necessarily the default one pedal driving, in my opinion, but just to, save those driver settings between rides so I don't have to go back in and reset it every single time. That's kind of silly. So next, let's talk mirrors. Electric folding mirrors to be exact. So the users Dave M and Rolf have both highlighted how disappointing it is that the SE trim lacks this feature. And as someone who parks in tight spots somewhat regularly, I kind of have to agree. Folding mirrors are really not just a luxury, they're pretty much a necessity in many cases. That said, I do understand that folding mirrors might be a relatively costly addition, which could be, of course, why they're missing from the SE trim, and that is the most affordable MG4 variant. But I think, maybe MG could consider offering them as an optional upgrade for those who really value this convenience and are willing to pay just a little bit extra for it. Lighting is another biggie that gets pointed out. The forum member Digsy pointed out the glaring absence of a rear roof light. And, he says it's such a daft thing to scrimp on. And I kind of agree. So for a car that aims to be modern and user-friendly, something as basic as interior lighting for the back seats, I think, should be standard. Personally, I'll often put a bag with my essentials or shopping and other stuff in the back seat while I'm driving. And at night, I'd really like a light to, help me make sure I haven't forgotten anything when I'm leaving, or say I have to look back for something while I'm at a light or something. That would be very helpful. So yes, rear interior lights, in my opinion, would be wonderful. Next, let's take a look at some of the technological improvements that owners have been calling for. So the MG4 owner under the handle column from Brisbane has one that's been very vocal about the need for reliable over-the-air or OTA updates. And let's be honest, he is far from being alone. Many owners have echoed his frustrations about having to visit the dealer, every time you need a software upgrade. It's really such a time drain, as he explained. So MG, maybe you could think about making life a little bit easier for your customers. Reliable OTA updates could also include enhancements like better navigation algorithms or performance tweaks. Something owners would really love to see implemented seamlessly from home. Now, this is something that MG has been promising. However, I believe that OTA updates might never really become a reality for the MG4 due to its design and the sheer number of control modules that it uses. Updating all of these units remotely is nearly impossible, and it stems from the fact that the MG4 was developed as a budget-friendly car. So perhaps we will see improvements in this area with a future version of the MG4. But for now, it definitely seems like a significant challenge. So we shall see. MG4 owners are also asking for smarter infotainment systems. So the user Bricktop X-Power suggested improving the USB music player, for example, so that it would support sequential playback and also remember the last played track. Now, this is especially useful if you're listening to maybe like a symphony or an audiobook, things where the order just matters. So you don't want to have to scroll endlessly through to find your stop, to find the spot you were at each time. So fixing this would be, a small win with really a big impact. Okay, and now for the big one, the Lane Keep Assist, or LKA, which has been a definite sore spot for numerous owners, with some, such as Lukey77, describing it as very intrusive and wishing for a way to customize the settings so that it feels more like a true assistant and less like an overbearing and aggressive backseat driver. So interestingly, some owners have even referred to this feature as Lane Kill Assist, while others actually praise it depending on the version of software that their control units are running. So that's interesting. It is pretty frustrating that experiences with the LKA vary so much for MG4 owners around the world. I really wish we could get a clear verdict on this, but unfortunately, the inconsistencies in user feedback make it very difficult. Now, on a positive note, MG has listened to these complaints and they have added a shortcut on the display for quicker deactivation of LKA. So that's a step forward. However, a physical button would still be a much better solution for ease of use and safety. So just to add my personal experience with the Citroën EC4 and my Megane E-Tech, I personally haven't actually had any issues with the LKA in either of these cars. Everything works as it should, and it is actually a useful assistant for me. So it's certainly disappointing that MG4 struggles with this feature so much, and I do truly hope that they find a way to resolve these issues so that the LKA is actually useful and the true assistant that it's meant to be should you wish to use it. Okay, next up, the user Carbon EV brought up a popular request, and that is better ambient lighting. So owners agree that proper lighting transforms the driving experience, especially, of course, during evening commutes. So enhancing the cabin with customizable ambient light settings could be a nice touch that would really improve the MG4's interior vibe. And let's not forget the calls for a sunroof or a panoramic glass roof, which would, of course, help bring in more natural light during the day and also make the cabin feel airier and perhaps bigger. Many owners are also asking for premium sound systems. So partnering with a well-known audio brand to offer an additional upgrade could definitely appeal to music lovers and just step up the overall driving experience. Ventilated seats and soft touch materials for door panels are other comfort upgrades that MG4 enthusiasts have frequently requested. So what I find interesting is how many of these requests are really quite small tweaks that, in my opinion, wouldn't require massive re-engineering. So features like OTA updates, improved lighting, and enhanced safety options, I think are within reach, and they would really make the MG4 an even more competitive EV. The community has spoken, and their ideas are quite clear, practical, and forward-thinking. So I can't help but agree with the user Wonko Desane UK, who said that the MG4 Trophy is a great car, but it's these small improvements that could take it from good to truly great. Now, listening to the voices of MG4 owners and acting on their feedback would not only help build loyalty with the brand, but it would also make the car a true standout in its class. I want to give a special thank you to Stuart Wright, who is the founder of the mgevs.com forum and who actually started this thread that the video is based on. Also, thank you to all of the users for sharing their experiences and their thoughts. It's, great to be able to hear this. The more users that this forum has and the more feedback that MG receives, hopefully, future models will just keep getting better and better as a result. So what do you think, tech heads? Which of the features from this wish list really resonated with you? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and who knows, maybe your suggestions, if you have some new ones, will be featured in my next video. As always, if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more insights and updates from the world of electromobility. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you next time.